fatal nosedive off the high cliff is almost like the chilling climax from Thelma and Louise. Except in this case, the passengers were the so-called terrible twins of yoga, engaged in what cops call a hair-pulling plunge to the death. A fight that turned physical. Alexandria and Anastasia Duval drove off this steep cliff in Maui, landing on the rocky shore 200 feet below.
I was kind of shocked that it was landed where it did.
Maui police officer Ian Custer was one of the first on the scene.
It's just a little piece of land,
Right.
a rock, right?
Maybe 10 feet more to the right and it would have been in the water.
And likely no one would have survived.
Right.
One twin survived. One twin died.
And what did you see?
I saw an adult female and she was unconscious. I tried to feel for her pulse and there was none, and she wasn't responding.
The dead twin was Anastasia. Alexandria, the driver, was uninjured.
Was she crying? Was she hysterical? Was she asking for her sister?
No, she didn't say a word to us. She refused to talk to us, actually.
But if she's just been in an accident, wouldn't she be asking, where's my sister?
Well, a normal person, maybe.
Alexandria was airlifted to Maui Memorial Medical Center. Officer Justin Moliola rushed there, hoping she would open up about what happened.
She didn't really want to say much to us at the hospital. She remained pretty defensive on questions.
How was she defensive?
Her initial reaction to us coming was, why are we there? She seemed pretty disconnected from the whole scenario.
Did she ask about her sister?
We ended up having to tell her what happened to her sister because she refused to answer any more questions from us.
And how did she take the news?
I remember her just having a real blank look on her face. It was actually pretty bizarre from the normal. Her face, just a blank stare.
And what Moliola says was even more bizarre, the reaction of the twins' father to the death of his daughter.
His first words to me were, if anyone should have died, it was that Alexandria.
But that's the one who survived.
Correct.
So in other words, he's saying the wrong daughter survived?
That's the way we took it, yeah.
At the hospital, police took blood samples from Alexandria.
Was the driver intoxicated?
Her blood results came back that she was 3 times over the legal limit here in the state.
So she was pretty intoxicated behind that wheel.
That's what the blood results showed, yeah.
Because Alexandria and Anastasia were identical twins, the cops needed a positive ID to make certain that it really was Alexandria who survived the crash. The Maui cops went to Alexandria's house in nearby Haiku. Her current boyfriend, Lonnie Dickerson, answered the door.
One of the things that stuck out to me when we got into the house was there's a pretty good size, pretty large picture of these twins standing side by side. It just didn't sit right. It didn't seem right to me. It seemed very weird.
And you recognized them?
I recognized, just because we had seen her, I'd seen her at the hospital, I knew one of them was her. I couldn't tell you exactly which was which.
Cops asked the boyfriend to come to the hospital to positively ID Alexandria.
When you said that they went off the cliff and one of them is dead, I mean, was he shocked? Did he show emotion?
There really was no emotion. He kind of just stood there and stared at us.
You've got one person dead and 2 people close to her, and neither one of them is crying or upset that she's dead?
It was bizarre. It really was.
And while all this was playing out, Anastasia's boyfriend, Federico Bailey, was still back at the remote campsite, wondering why the twins hadn't returned.
How did you find out that she had died?
I ended up sleeping in the tent that night by myself, and I waited for them. They didn't come back that night. And so in the morning, I decided to hitch a ride to Hana. I stopped off at a friend's house, and he said, "I'm sorry, but one of them died. There was a wreck and one of them died." And I just couldn't believe my ears.
And cops couldn't believe their ears either when they soon heard what spilled out of Federico.
He shared basically that he could see this coming. Anastasia saying that, Alexander's is gonna kill me.
What you're about to hear is Federico's version of events that led up to the crash.
7 days prior to the death, Alexandra informed me that she was going to kill her sister. And then she said it again, but she said it a different way. She said, I killed my sister, as though it had already happened.
But why would she want to kill her sister?
Well, she didn't really say why she wanted to kill her.
Do you have any suspicions?
Well, there was a lot of jealousy there between the two of them.
What were they jealous about?
Even though they were listed as identical twins, they didn't see themselves as identical twins, and they actually resented the idea.
Federico reveals even more. He further claims he heard Alexandria make a chilling comment to Anastasia. Was Alexandria planning a suicide mission?
She said, don't forget, we're leaving planet on the 30th.
Are you then inferring leaving planet is I'm going to die?
I immediately suspected that they were planning on doing suicide.
Next, was it an accident, a suicide, or murder? Investigators reenact the fatal crash.
If you're driving and you're turning this way and the ocean's right there, how do you not hit the brakes?
You don't hit the brakes if you want to go off the cliff.
In the sun visor and clutched in Anastasia's cold hand, strands of blonde hair, presumably her twin sister Alexandria's.